Hello friends, how are you all doing? Hope all of you doing well and all of you are safe with your families. Well, this here is the Maruti Suzuki Baleno. It's a car which doesn't need any kind of introduction. It's been one of the best sellers for the last 7 or 8 years since it was launched in 2015. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about some positives and some negatives because I've kept this car for the last 2 months with me and I have discovered some flaws as well as some positive things about this. Now this is the top of the line alpha version of the car. So this car comes with all the bells and whistles, HD display, alloy wheels, multiple airbags, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and the works really. So this car has it all. Now the big positive of this car, the first big positive of this car is the looks on the front, especially the headlamp unit and the next ray design with those three dots or those three LEDs, the daytime running lamps, looks really classy and very posh indeed. Unlike the earlier car which looked a little stubby and a little boring, this one definitely has a very charming personality, and the side profile also looks very well balanced and has a nice silhouette about itself. So it's a car which has a lot of positives in terms of the looks as well as the overall design, and especially in this shade of Nexa Blue, I think it looks like quite a royal and charming car. Am I getting carried away? You can let me in the comments below. But there are of course a lot of negatives as well, some flaws as well, which could have been improved. So let's talk about them once I jump inside. And if you've come to this channel for the first time, please do like, share and subscribe. Well, I'm sure by now all of you are aware that Woodmo are the online expert when it comes to spare parts, and the best point is that they have the spare parts for all vehicles available in India. So even if your car is out of production now, maybe you have a large generation model, even then they have the spare part available, they have the entire catalog, and the best point is that they have the same spare part from a host of different component makers, which gives you great flexibility in the pricing overall. So check them out today, check out the app, it's available both for iOS as well as Android devices, and also check out the website for the latest schemes as well as offers. Well, so I gave you one big positive on the outside. The second big positive about this car is the interior, the back seat especially. And if you're someone who always enjoys sitting in the back, then definitely it's a very roomy car. Even the last generation of the Baleno was very roomy, very spacious, and even this one is quite good. The seat cushioning also, both in the front and at the back, is exemplary. The seat comfort is very good, and just in general you feel very happy when you're sitting inside this car because on a long day, if you're behind the wheel, you don't feel tired at all, and when you enter the office or your home after a long day behind the wheel, you definitely feel very fresh and just as fresh as you did when you started off your journey. So that's a big benefit. A lot of other cars in this segment don't offer you this, and that's something that the Baleno has to offer. Now we're going to do two positives, so let's talk about a negative as well. Now this is of course the mild hybrid version, and if you use the start stop over here, the automatic start stop, it just kicks in very frequently and it kicks in very sharply and very strongly, and you might be just standing at a signal for a second or two and shuts off, and suddenly you want to move ahead and you can't because it takes a couple of seconds for the engine to get going. Before that, somebody else has cut his or her way into traffic, and that can be frustrating. So you'd end up switching off the start stop anyways on most days, really negating the feature itself. So that's something with Maruti engineers should fix and maybe delay the overall operation of the start stop, automatic start stop, by a second or two further. Apart from this, there's another big negative, and that negative is that the quality of some of the materials here could have been better. Now overall quality levels are quite good and I don't really have any major issues with them, but the power window buttons have been in use for the last 15 years, the same ones which were found on the first generation of the Swift, which I used to own. If you want to know my car and my experience with it, you can check out the description box or pop out banner here, click on it and you can see what I had to say about the car. Same buttons which I had used about 10 years ago are found on this car, so that's a big negative. And some plastics over here on the lower part are a little bit scratchy and maybe could have been better, especially because it competes with the likes of the Hyundai i20, which has excellent plastic quality and cabin quality. So that's something maybe some buyers might just have an issue with. Other than that, it's quite a good cabin to be. That's another big benefit. The third big benefit, the quality levels are good, the design is good, and in general the fit and finish is quite good, especially of this touchscreen. Beautiful touchscreen to operate. It's a 9-inch unit and it just has a lot of functions. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is there, a lot of other things are there to keep you busy, and of course even the cages here have a torque and power meter usage function, which keeps the kids entertained. If you have kids at home, they'll enjoy seeing it from the back seat and seeing how much power is being used, and a host of other functions. And even the dials are very sporty to look at. They're hooded with chrome, so they definitely look sporty and quite nice to see. But I'll have another negative to talk about now, and that negative is that the side view mirrors are really tiny. Yes, if you are someone who always depends on his mirrors and you're using his car on the highway, you just have to flex your muscles a bit of the neck and see if you're in nobody's blind spot, or nobody else in your blind spot rather, because they're very tiny and sometimes you might miss some car which is close to you. So there are a lot of blind spots around. You just have to do this and check it out. So that's something that Maruti Engineers should fix. Even the last generation of the Baleno had very small mirrors, and that's something that Maruti Engineers seems to have carried over, and that's something which I think a lot of customers will not truly appreciate and want it to be changed and have different mirrors, and larger mirrors rather, because that's something that buyers will want on this car, especially those who use it a lot on the highway out there. So these are some issues with the car. There's still a lot of positive to talk about. The other big benefit, of course, the other big positive is the fact that the boot on this car is quite big. It's a large boot, very sumptuous boot, and even though there's a bit of a loading lip to it, loading sill, it is a boot which most of you will be happy to live with, and it's a boot which can easily gobble up a lot of luggage. It's over 300 liters in space, so that is something which buyers will appreciate who drive a lot on the highways, especially those of you who always have some family members coming from abroad. Now, since I've given you another positive, let me talk about one more negative, which I think that I might have missed out, and that is the sunroof is still missing on this car. i20 has it, it's a big rival, and that car has it. So I think Maruti should now offer it, because the Brezza has it, the Grand Vitara has a big sunroof. Even this one should come with a sunroof now. That's something which I think Maruti should now put on this car, designers should put on this car, and that's something which is still missing. So these were some positives, some negatives. Another big positive which I really like about this car, it's a massive positive, is the 1.2 K series petrol engine. It's a really punchy engine. It's a very responsive engine, especially if you are someone who uses this car a lot on the highway. You'll really enjoy using this car because it's a very responsive engine, very fuel efficient as well. Even if you switch off the mild hybrid tech system on this car, the engine is just too good and just loves to rev all the way up to its red line without any fuss whatsoever. So a lot of buyers who are enthusiasts, who hire their cars just for sheer driving pleasure, will enjoy using this engine. The AMT though isn't as good as the CVT used to be. The CVT is a gearbox which is brilliant to operate, so a lot of you will miss that gearbox on this car. But the AMT, it does its job well. It's hassle-free to operate. Fuel efficiency wise, it's quite good. But the CVT was something else. Yes, the AMT has been improved from the other cars in the range, but still, no AMT can match the smoothness, the refinement, the slickness of a CVT. So I think it's maybe a positive, maybe a negative, you decide. If you've driven the CVT before, you'll definitely feel like you're missing something. If you've not driven the CVT before on this car, you won't feel anything missing, because as I said, it does its job and it is quite hassle to operate, and fuel efficiency wise also there aren't any issues with this car. Well, so those were my positives and negatives of the Baleno after living with it for a couple of months. I'll give you a long-term video review where I talk about the fuel efficiency and other stuff like that in some other video, and let me know what other kind of stuff you want to watch, what other kind of stuff you're keen on doing, and what other cars you want me to review on this channel. If you have enjoyed watching this video till the end, please give me a like, share and subscribe, and of course if you haven't, then you can give me a dislike as well. So bye for now, and thanks so much for watching this video.